Welcome to the How Did We Get Here podcast, the show that allows inspiring women from all walks of life a place to tell their story. Follow along every fortnight as we chat about each woman's challenges, life lessons, and words of wisdom that they have picked up along the way. Everything that has led them to being right here and right now. I'm your host, Jess, and from wherever you are in the world, I hope the story you hear today makes you smile, laugh, and maybe even cry a little. I hope it inspires you and fills your cup up just a little bit more, because in this day and age, inspiration and stories are always worth sharing. So grab a coffee or a tea and settle in for today's episode. And welcome back to the How Did We Get Here podcast. Thank you all so much for tuning in to today's episode. And it's officially our first episode of 2026. And I'm very excited to welcome Tam to the show. Thank you so much, honey.
Hello. Wow. First episode for 2026, baby girl.
Thank you again for saying yes to coming on the show. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely, honey. How did we get here? Fuck
literally. Well, yeah, we know that that's sort of the general gist of the show, and you are someone that I've known for a long time in the industry and someone I definitely look up to in terms of your work ethic and your story. So for my listeners in my audience, I am really excited to sort of dive into that and just give everyone an opportunity to learn about you and, you know, how you've gotten to where you are today. So to kick things off, I would love if you could summarize yourself without saying what you do for work.
That's a very good question.
Just some describing words, like how would you introduce yourself?
Amplifying and accelerating how to help find your voice. Mm-hmm. I give people the awareness, knowledge, and belief to lean into building authority. Mm-hmm. I also help people make money. And honestly, just tapping into who they are, that's always been in themselves too. That's always been within themselves to use that vessel, you know, mm-hmm. that's always been within them for them to speak well, to show up, to share their message, to find a solution with their one solvable offer. Mm-hmm. God, that's a very hard question.
But what about you as a person though, outside of your business, outside of an industry? You as a person, how would you introduce yourself to someone for the first time without stating what you do for work?
To be fair, I always like to say people, I am a fighter. I'm someone that has got so much energy. I love cats. I'm a red wine drinker, and I'm someone that I like to really make know who I am and, you know, how I really like to be myself. Outside of all of that, you know, I'm really big on letting people know that I am, you know, not just a speaker, but I'm also someone that gives a fuck, and I'm quirky, I'm fun, I'm weird, and I own who I am. And I'm someone that absolutely loves my partner. I love my clients. I love helping people when it comes to, you know, giving them the opportunity to be a part of something and a part of a family and a community too. So
that's perfect. That's you in a nutshell.
It really is.
And it's a great question. Like, I really love sort of peeling back the layers of people, and because sometimes obviously within different industries that we work in, we use our job as like a leading point when we introduce ourselves to people, right? And I love sort of starting my episodes with those questions because it allows you to reflect on who you are as a person and like your core of who you are and your personality and, you know, what makes people drawn to you, and all of those qualities that you listed are what make people want to be around you. So yeah, it's amazing.
I love that. And I think, you know, had you asked me, God, 10 years ago, I would have been like, well, I'm a fitness coach. Well, what are you outside of that? I actually have no fucking idea. So it's such a great question.
And it's crazy how much you change as you grow older, as you evolve, as you move through different phases of your life, and how that description will change.
Well, that's funny you say that too, because maybe next conversation we have, I might be a mum.
Oh my God, that's crazy. That's wild. Yeah. That's amazing. That makes me so happy, Tam.
Yeah, it's been such a big thing for me to, and everyone who doesn't know me, you know, I've always been the go-getter, workaholic, you know, and being able to have the opportunity now to really lean into being a mom, that allows me to be more my feminine. We've built the business to a point where I can delegate, outsource, and it scares the shit out of me. I'm going to be a
Absolutely
mom one
would.
day,
Yeah.
but it's cool to say it too. So
That's so incredible. Oh my God, I'm so excited for you.
I'm hoping it's a boy, but whatever I get, I'm happy.
As long as they're healthy and happy, that's all that matters. But yeah, you can always want a preference.
I think because I know when I was a little girl, I was the devil child, and my mum used to always say it. So I'm hoping no one gets offended by me saying that, but I was a little shit.
I think there could be a few women out there who would probably say the same thing about themselves. So
Yeah.
you're not alone in saying that.
Yeah. Oh, God. Thank you, guys. Thank you for listening to my TED Talk on me being a mum.
Okay, well, if you don't mind taking us back as far back as you want to in terms of your origin story. So I really sort of like to delve into someone's background and things that you're willing to share, only what you feel comfortable sharing,
Yep.
moments and things that have happened in your life that have sort of become pillars of, building your foundations for your values, experiences, things that have really shaped you into making you who you are today. So if you don't mind sharing your story.
Absolutely. And I think it's great too, knowing that the next time we speak, I might be a mum, but growing up for me, I felt like my life was a gypsy life. I was born in Germany. My mum's half Brazilian. I remember the first thing she used to say to me when I was a little girl was, Tammy, you never like to stand still. Tammy wants this, Tammy wants that. And so a very cliche thing I used to always say is, I've always wanted to be on stage. I've always known within myself I wanted to help people. And behind closed doors, we came from a very dysfunctional family. Dad was the role model. We talk about role models growing up. My mum and my dad were so different that I looked to my dad who, he was a gambling addict, but he liked to pretend to be someone he wasn't. He was very much all about the show and, put on this facade. Whereas my beautiful mum was very much, don't let people know what's going on. So I had these two different worlds. And so I could, listen to my mum, listen to my dad, and it just felt like I was quite confused on who I was and who I needed to become and how do I get to show up. But when I was little, I used to always dream on being on stage, and I think that was my way of expressing what was going on, behind the scenes. And so at a very early age, I've always known that from the ages of 4 growing up, we moved to Australia, and the only way I could really self-express was on stage as a professional dancer, actor. And I remember when I was 8 years old, my beautiful mum put me into speech and drama school because teachers used to say to her, Tammy's got so much ambition, but she can't read, she can't write, she can't speak very well. And my beautiful mum took the courage to put me into speech and drama, even when we didn't have money, even if we didn't have anything to pay for it. And so a lot of the times, she used to sew the costumes, and she used to then also, feed the neighbor's cat because it was next door to where we were living, that this drama school was there. And I share that because, that was the first initial step, the breadcrumb. I'd share about the little nudges we get from the universe of that first initial courage of being able to love speaking, because my mum put me into drama school. And I guess fast forward to 12 was a big pinnacle moment of being homeless one day. We went and came home from school, and we tried to get in, and my mum couldn't open up the door. My father had gambled all of our money.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
And so
Your poor mum, just your poor mum having to scramble to try and figure out what to do after that had happened. Like, I can't even imagine the pressure and the anxiety that put on her to try and make sure that there was still a roof over your head.
And that's funny because I didn't see my mum ever get scared until that one moment.
Oh,
So it was pretty intense.
Goosebumps.
And it's crazy because that is probably the biggest pinnacle moment, not just the 8-year-old version of me wanting to speak and, have the confidence just to lean into that, but because I saw my mum go through that big initial, what the fuck are we going to do? Yeah. So perseverance was quite instilled at me at a very young age. And, we lived in a caravan park, and yes, we got out of that. But funnily enough, studies show that people who have experienced homelessness at a very young age end up never fully, well, one, they go down the addictive path, but they also never really continue on finding a path in their life.
Or have a continued stable home life.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. So that's, again, a big thing why I do what I do now. It's knowing the feeling of never being able to give my future family the life I never have. And I guess fast forward now, we met in the fitness space. I was the professional, yes, athlete. I was WBFF back then, veered into the business space, but the biggest thing I find that was missing as I pivoted and traversed all these different career paths was that I never really found my voice because I had two different people telling me to be one way or the other. And really, I realized that if I owned who I am with a strong message and knowing exactly of what I do to help people, being able to amplify the voice, the one thing I've always wanted to do was speak on stage and help beautiful businesses find their voice, and that's what I do for a living now.
Yeah.
I help people build their businesses and how they can build authority and presence on stage, online, offline.
I love that. And I do want to get into a little bit more about the decisions and things that had happened when you left coaching and you left the fitness space and what it was exactly that you had gone through and experienced in order to get you to where you are now. Because it's a huge jump going from working as a coach, being in the fitness industry, being a competitor, and then to what you do now for work. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
It was probably the hardest decision I've ever made in my life. Like,
Yeah.
I've had fucking multiple things in my life that were quite hard, but that was hard because it was almost like an identity of, if I'm no longer a fitness coach or a EHP athlete or a WBFF pro, who the hell am I?
Yeah.
And you started with, who are you, without
Mm.
knowing what you do. And
Yeah.
that was a massive identity shift for me. And how it all happened, COVID hit, the online business was doing really well. But the more I leaned into understanding and learning personal development, because I studied life coaching, I started to understand more of who I am behind closed doors.
Mm-hmm.
And that was fucking terrifying because it was almost like I thought who I was online was me, but they were just versions of me,
Yeah.
or they were borrowed versions of other people that I looked to become, when really I never really owned who I was deep down. And
Mm.
I think for the stages of life and actual stages I've been on, when I decided to leave, it was literally, I was at the gym with Susanna, one of my content creators, and we were filming, I don't know, some exercise, and I was getting so angry, like resentful at this, having to film a workout. Like, I used to love this stuff.
Mm.
And it came to realization that health was a personal value of mine, not a business value.
Yep.
Then I'd made that decision, I'm going to transition, because I had a penny drop moment of, it was always a value, but health was more of a personal value than a business value of mine.
Mm.
And that was the big change. That was the big dip. That was okay, now I need to tell people what's going on. And that was the scariest bit.
Absolutely. It would have been like a whole identity crisis phase for you as well. Like not only figuring out who you were and what you wanted to be, but trying to learn how to now shift into a completely new business space
Yeah.
and like learn how to trust yourself for one, that okay, I'm going to do this and I have to do this, because you're obviously moving away from something that was safe, what was familiar, and now moving into something that was new and unfamiliar and building that from the ground up. So yeah, that's amazing.
And if we look at it from the ground up, you kind of sort of see patterns of that. You hit rock bottom, or you have to start again. I became really good at starting again,
Mm.
or feeling like, okay, if I'm actually going to really lean into this new identity, this is the thing, this is the one thing I'm going to go do for the rest of my life.
Mm.
Or as I evolve, everything else evolves. But it was like I died inside when it all happened.
Yeah. What was probably the biggest achievement in the beginning part of that process? Like when you sort of were like, yeah, okay, I think I'm
This is
good
it.
now. Yeah. Yeah. When was that moment for you?
I think it was when the podcast started to really take off.
Mm.
I made another big decision of really just going all in with it. It was probably the fastest way I built my authority, because I just showed up every day as this new, version of myself. But it was also because I had such a great network of fitness people. When I finally cracked the code of someone out of the fitness space, that was really cool to have someone like Daniel G on my podcast. He's really big now in the US as a sales coach, which then I was able to get Dr. John DeMartini on my podcast. That's when people started to listen to me.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because, you see these people now online, they're scared to do cringy posting, or you see someone doing something different. They're like, what the fuck's she doing? But when they start to listen and watch, that's when you go, okay, now I know this is working. They're starting to ask for my advice, their tips. They want to work with me. It's just a great reminder to anyone listening. Cringy stuff will work. I promise you.
That is what I was going to say. Like it's cringy until it works.
Until
Like
it works.
it's annoying or cringy or oh my god, I can't believe she's doing that or saying that until it works. Like people think you're crazy. People think, you lost the plot a little bit. Who fucking cares, man? Like I really admire the way you show up online. Not, like even 10 years ago when I knew you obviously through the fitness industry, but I think a little bit more so now because like you are so authentic in who you are and how you show up and like we get to see the real Tam. And yeah, I think even now there's a lot of people out there who are still scared to be authentic and scared to be a little bit cringe. Like I definitely was like that a couple of years ago, like give or take 5-6 years ago. I was scared to really sort of show my personality online and really sort of speak a lot more to camera. But now I really couldn't give a fuck. Like after everything I've gone through in the last 2 to 3 years of my life, I do not care what people think of me. I show up who I am, as who I want to be online. And, my clients see that. My clients see that face to face and they also see that through my coaching as well. And, people through social media and things like that. Like, yeah, I just wish more people didn't care as much as they do.
And, it's okay to care. I think it's when it stops you from showing up because you care too much that people are going to judge you or say things about you. It's like there's a level of care that we can have. But then when you let go of the outcome, that's when the magic happens. And watching you shift, watching you grow, watching you be in your element, I'm like, fuck yeah, that's my girl. I'm so happy with that. And then you go to the new level of when you get hate, and that's my new thing right now. I'm getting so much hate.
Yeah, what is the go with all of that? How? Like, I know you're a tough bitch, and like, I love that about you as well. Like, it's water over duck's back most of the time for you, but I guess there is an element of, oh my god, that actually sort of stings a little bit. Like, that hurts. I'm a human on the other side of this computer or this phone screen. Like, I will never understand the way people bully others online and put shit on other people through a keyboard, through their phone screen. Like, it to me, it's the lowest form of bullying ever.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. And I think there was always the saying, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. And I used to think that too, until it was happening that I was like, do I ignore this? Do I block and delete? Or do I stand up for myself? So I've kind of gone, I'm going to speak how I feel.
Good.
And yeah, it does hurt. Not going to lie. I'd be lying. I'm like, I don't care. I don't think, this is hurting me. It does. Like I was bullied at school too. So, you relive these little moments. But I guess it's also knowing that, very much like you said about your clients, who your true fans are, the people that love you for who you are. And now I get to use this as polarizing content and calling people forward. I don't like to say calling them out, call them forward. Okay, if you're a life coach and you're telling me that I, look a certain way, so why are you projecting your shit onto me? And you're a life coach, you have a business page, you're having a go at me. That's bad business for you. I'm going to call you forward and go, why are you doing this? Why are you projecting your shit onto me? Do you know the difference? As opposed to like, well, I'm just going to say something nasty back to them. It's like, well, I'm going to rebuttal and see where this goes. Coming back to what you're saying, it's just been a new level, and I think it's just when you start to grow more, there's going to be hate. And I think it's just being able to be prepared for that, having that thick skin, but also don't be afraid to stand
up for yourself. Yeah. Absolutely. And I think seeing a lot of these things online in terms of like people calling people out, I think in an educational standpoint, because you see a lot of people calling out misinformation, calling out people who are giving the wrong advice, who are like from a fitness standpoint, this is what I'm talking about in this regard. I think there's a lot of value in that because we're not letting shit slide anymore. We're not letting, these companies or these businesses sort of pull the wool over people's eyes in terms of misinformation on nutrition, on training and things like that. But when it comes to, someone devaluing you as a coach, as a business coach and putting shit on your name, of course you're allowed to stand up for yourself. Of course you're allowed to bring them forward and say, hey, let's have a conversation about this face to face, well, sort of face to face through a phone, but you know what I mean? Like, I
That's
think,
a punch on.
yeah. No, but I mean, like, you know, have an adult conversation about it. Like, if you've got something to say it with your chest. Like, don't hide and say it. Say it with your fucking chest. Like, oh, yeah, sorry, I'm getting rolled up now.
True. You know, me and Abby literally just did a content piece on, hey, you're not going to like this, but this person does really good content because he's polarizing, you know. And I think there is a lot of misinformation. There's a lot of people that are preaching something and then they actually don't deliver on a promise. Absolutely. That is wrong. And I definitely believe where people can call you out and call the shit kickers. And anyone listening, you know, this is where I find this so fascinating. Like, if your natural instinct is to say something, do it. And I feel like the online space has kind of made us scared to reply or rebuttal or to, what are people going to think? Or maybe this isn't right. It's your truth. It's your right. No one else's. It may be right for me. It may not be right for you to do it, but don't judge someone else's right if it's your belief that you have that it isn't to you.
Absolutely.
You know?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I totally agree. Oh my goodness. Well, we've covered a lot of bases already now, but one question I always do love to ask and sort of circle back in terms of now what you do for work.
Yeah.
What would you describe your purpose as? I know you sort of summarized it a little bit in the beginning, but how would you summarize your purpose now as a human being, as Tam?
I really want more people to have a voice, which is having a big, strong, big dick energy message that they actually get to bring impact into the world, where they have a solution to something that they get to sell, and it literally allows people to have the ability to be known, the ability to build a legacy, to leave a trademark in the world, you know. And a lot of people come to me because they have established businesses, but they don't know how to, you know, be online and talk about it. They don't know how to go from, I just have an offer and a business. Well, you're more than just a business. You know, and so it's kind of allowing people now to build presence and visibility as an authoritative. So the things that I love to teach and do, you know, yes, building consistent revenue growth is important, but the way you do it is owning who you are, having a strong voice. And that's really about building a personal brand, but also not just focusing on virality. Visibility is built on longevity, a strong foundation and system, which are based on your message, your personal brand, and knowing exactly what you sell, and you talk about it over and over again.
Absolutely.
And I think that's what I love teaching, you know, and also why when I get to be on stage, so many people come to me after they've built something. They're like, I want to now talk about this thing and I want to be a speaker. And so many of us can have that ability to become speakers straight away, but people get scared of, like, where do I begin? Do I need to do a TEDx? No, you just need a good keynote, and then you just need to promote yourself as one. So
Absolutely. Well, you gave me the confidence to do this podcast. Like, I came to you with an idea when we were working together, and you're just like, go for it.
Yep.
Like, use your big dick energy, do what you want to do, and show your voice. And now this has just been such a passion project of mine, and something that I really love to do outside of coaching, outside of the fitness industry, where I get to, yes, use my voice in a way that creates a platform for other women to show their voice and their story and share that with my audience. But I've also established this audience. I've also established this rapport with the people that follow my podcast, follow my social media, and want to listen to what I do. So yeah, I have you to thank for my confidence in doing this. So thank you, Tam.
it's all you, babe. And you know what? It's such a great tool to build more trust online. You know, we're talking about, there is a lot of people right now being called forward. You know, you've got trust now because you're consistent. You're consistent with your training. You're consistent with your clients. You're consistently sharing your message and inviting people to share their gift. So it's all you, baby girl, and that's authority. You're an authoritative figure now. Congratulations.
Thank you, darling. There would have been a point where I would have been embarrassed to take that feedback on, in terms of saying, yeah, I do have a voice. I have authority, but I'm not ashamed of having that. I'm not, you know, sort of scared to say, yeah, I know I do. I know that there are people that like to listen to what I have to say. And, you know, I think a lot of people that might be listening could resonate a little bit with that and take that into their everyday life. And, you know, it might be in a corporate world or whatever it is, in their businesses or their jobs or their family life or anything like that. Like, you have a voice and you deserve to be listened to, because at the end of the day, I always sort of think about this. I'm like, at the end of the day, you're going to be 80, 85 years old. And if you look back on your life with a little bit of regret in terms of, I didn't sort of speak up for what I really wanted, or spoke truthfully in terms of, wanting a pay rise or a promotion, or, setting boundaries with particular family members, or cutting off people in your life in terms of friends or toxicity or anything like that. Like, if you're too scared to have that voice, to have that authority, you're going to have that regret later on in life, because this is all we got. You might as well just speak up and say what you want to say.
That's it. People worry too much of what will happen if I say this. Well, what happens if you do say it and you're actually getting a message from someone and they say, I needed to hear that. Thank you, and voice, and you said it so beautifully. It doesn't have to be in business.
Exactly.
Boundaries, personal relationships, friends. Be more you, don't dim your light just because someone else thinks you need to be a certain way or fit a certain way.
No,
and you own yourself, babe. I watch your videos, your sexy dancing.
I'm actually going to dancing tonight.
Good. I was saying to Abby, we did the ins and outs of 2026. For me is getting back into a hobby.
Yes.
It's been a hobby for me.
Absolutely.
So dancing. I don't know about sexy dancing because I'm such a pleb, but I will.
Don't sell yourself short, Tam. Everyone can be sexy. Honestly, don't sell yourself short. You're like, ugh.
What's on the pole?
I think it's so good having a little hobby outside of like your day-to-day life. Like I remember there was a period of time where I was so in bodybuilding. Like I was so invested. And like what you said before, I sort of had no identity outside of bodybuilding. I had no identity outside of the gym. I had no sense of who I was. And dancing has really become a different outlet for me, and something like, I don't identify myself as a dancer. I do dancing, but
you do very well. If you weren't able to go down that path.
Thank you. But yeah, and it just has become such a great, not only form of self-expression, but something else that I can pour my energy into. So if anyone else like Tam is looking for another hobby to do outside of their work, do it for 2026. Like make that a little goal for yourself, because like I said before, life's too short not to do fun shit.
Come with me, guys, because I need some friends doing some funny hobbies as well.
What's on your list of hobbies? What do you want to try?
Dancing was definitely on the list. I really want to do, and also cooking classes, because I'm really bad at cooking.
Same.
Really bad.
My partner's really good. I'm so lucky.
Very lucky. That's probably the thing that I need to do. But Jordan's also great at cooking. And he's watching right now. He's just walked through the door.
Hi, Jordan.
This is a podcast. Okay.
Bye.
And basketball, because I used to be called Speed Demon and captain of your year 7 basketball game.
Oh my God, that's so cool.
So yeah, hopefully those 3.
Yeah, fuck yeah. I used to play netball back in high school. You wouldn't catch me on a netball court now. No way. I've got long nails.
Yes, that's the problem too. That is true. Maybe that's a winter sport for me.
Yeah, maybe. Good thinking. Going back to sort of talking a little bit more about your business. So I know from when you first started, when you met Jordan, how did you guys go in terms, because I know the story, I know the background in terms of when Jordan met you and what he was doing for work. And can you tell my audience a little bit of the story of how he came into the business? Because I think that's amazing.
It is. It's definitely a great story. We were meant to just have a one-night stand, so you can imagine a one-night stand. It was quite raunchy back in the day. And then, next minute, 3 months later, we move in with my 2 cats and him.
Was it only 3 months?
It was only 3 months, babe.
That's wild.
Yeah. It's funny. I remember Jenna messaged me just before I went to his house. She's like, please send me an eggplant emoji just to make sure you're safe. And like a skull, you're in trouble, which is really funny. None of my friends would have replied back. So I was like, oh, well, if it was a serial killer, it would have died.
Yeah.
But no, 3 months we moved into DY, Jordan and our 2 cats. And he was a boil maker. So basically makes metal for the Navy. He was working for them. It was like a $300K salary. And over our relationship at the beginning, every time he went to work, his chest would hurt. He was constantly tensing up. He'd go to work, he'd come home late, and he would just be so sad and miserable. Like Jordan also has history of suicidal attempts, and it started to kind of creep back in terms of how he was thinking about work and certain things. Yep. So one day I just said, like, why don't you work with me? And so he took that massive leap. He left. That was really big for him. A male, an analytical, logical, I need to be making sure I'm bringing this much money in, decided to leave to work for me was like
That's crazy.
pretty big. And did it go great after that? Absolutely not. It was really hard. It was so hard. But the intention of it was he's helped me. I want to give back to him. And it taught us a lot about our relationship, our own wounds too. You know, we were constantly butting heads. And that was just based on me resenting him and resenting myself, but him also then feeling inadequate in his roles.
Mm,
And that's just because we weren't delegating him in the right areas of what he's in now, you know. And then we
right.
worked with a mentor, we got help, we worked on our relationship. And Jordan's an ads genius, you know, he's so
Mm-hmm.
good at ads, he's so good at copy funnel. He's like the builder in ads now. And now he's building AI stuff. Like he's just a builder in general.
Mm.
But it was the best and hardest decision after the fitness decision of leaving,
Yep.
working with your lover, and then becoming a partnership, a team sportsmanship in the business too. So yeah, it was insane because we nearly broke up, we nearly split, and then we just decided to continue on.
Mm.
And so happy we did now because he's got such a great leadership in our community. You know, people absolutely love how his brain works. And we're
Mm-hmm.
like yin and yang now. I'm the forefront, creator, crazy person, visionary, and he's the back end, the God, all the stuff that I don't
The
know how to
computer, the ads, the all that. Yeah.
yeah.
The
The tech guy.
yeah.
If you check his Instagram, the ads guy.
That's his description now, the ads guy.
He just needs a photo to match it. It's just not there.
I think that's really amazing. And, you know, from that transition, what was probably the biggest thing that you saw in Jordan in terms of like him having to learn a whole new sort of business model, skill set, everything else like that? Like what are you really proud of him for?
The time frame. I think about the amount of mistakes I've done and how long it took me to do something. Like you think of someone who was a tradie stepping into entrepreneurship, it's probably always been within him,
Mm,
but to come into a space to learn everything, it was definitely how fast he learned, how quickly he taught me things too,
mm,
and just the certainty and confidence he's got in himself now, you know. It's
mm-hmm.
been the best thing to witness. He's taught me so much about finances as well. So something about men and money. Who would
Oh,
have
yeah.
thought?
I know, right? It's crazy.
Women too, though. Don't worry, we're really good with it. But I
Yeah.
was a spender. Just so you guys know, I'm a spender. So the most amazing thing was watching him just go, wow, I have certainty. And it's crazy. We were at a baby shower and everyone was going to him for ads questions. And I'm watching him. He looks like Tony Stark. He's got a Fallout shirt. He bought these new Ray-Ban glasses. I was like, you look like a fucking sexy ads guy. I'm so fucking proud of you, babe.
That's so cute.
It was so cute. But yeah, it's crazy. That's probably the most biggest change for me I've seen.
Yeah. And I think that's really a credit to you two as a couple as well. The fact that you didn't let the intensity of working together, building your business together, break you guys up, because you definitely could have. You know, you could have let it break you. You could have let that be the end, but you both dug in. You did the work. You spoke and you worked with, you know, other professionals to try and get you through that. And I think that's amazing. That's a real testament to both of you. And I think if you two can get through all of that shit as a
Yeah.
couple, I think you're both going to be incredible parents one day.
You just gave me.
I just got really like I got really emotional thinking about that, and I think you two will make incredible parents one day, because that takes a lot of strength, not physical strength, but you know, emotional and mental strength to be able to get through something like that. And you know, you can definitely get through anything, you two.
I appreciate that, babe. And you know what? I think the most important thing for everyone listening, there's always going to be hurdles. Like
Mm,
now, our new hurdle is, you know, intimacy and couples time, you know, and that's just because we were so thick in the business. But now we just make new rules, you know, and we just communicate better. We're not perfect by no means, but I think it's just being more self-aware, knowing there's always going to be new things to work on. But it's also just, you know, you commit to yourself through the good and the bad. It's the same in business. You don't just walk away from your business just because things get hard. You don't just walk away from a relationship because things get hard.
absolutely, definitely. I think a lot of people need to hear that, because it's really easy to just throw in the towel when things get really hard, and nothing worth it comes easy.
Absolutely.
That's definitely something I've
Absolutely.
learned. Yeah. One thing I did also want to ask you as well, a couple of pieces of advice that you have for business owners, just in general, like your top 5 pieces of advice when it comes to one, starting your own business and continuing to build a business. Because where people sort of fuck it up a little bit is the momentum to keep
Yes.
going. And, because it's hard, it's tough work running your own business. And I'm definitely undiagnosed ADHD. And I find that the hardest thing I
Left that there. That's
I
fine.
need that. I definitely, and this is a conversation I have with my partner all the time, transitioning from being a teacher to running my own business and being an online coach was no one tells me what to do. No one tells me what to do. I don't have things that, another person is delegating to me. I have to do everything. And I think, you have to continuously do that day in, day
Yeah.
out for years on end to establish yourself as a business. So, what are some of your biggest pieces of advice to business owners?
So good. And for my undiagnosed ADHDers, I think the biggest thing is the show up daily is the first one, even when no one's watching, even if there is that delayed gratification. And it's what this whole year is about. Momentum is key, but it's even in the momentum of times you feel like no one's watching. There's low engagement, low views. Not people are DMing me. My messaging isn't landing. Someone is watching. You just need to consistently show up no matter what. The second thing is, I always think it's so important to know who you are as a person. And it's such a cliche thing because I have spent so many years just copying other people. Stop copying. You can steal people's authority, you can borrow, but like, who are you behind the closed doors? And how can you amplify that online? Because building a character is one thing, but it's like, how can you be more you that amplifies in the online space? The third thing I believe is the reps is important, strategy important, and not to do it on your own. So community and having a mentor that fast tracks your results is so good because that way you're, skipping all the bullshit. And I also believe that it's better to invest in your business than wasting time trying to figure it out on your own, because that's where I did a lot of my learnings and mistakes. I thought I could do it all myself because I was too stubborn to ask for help. And I think the best and very cliche thing too is like having gratitude on a daily basis, because there's always something that you would have won, whether it's I did a post, I emailed a client, I did the invoicing, I fired a team and it was hard. You will always do something scary and hard. And sometimes we look to the most biggest reward as a success method
Indicator.
or
Yeah.
indicator. But what did you do today that you can actually celebrate? So the gratitudes and wins on a daily basis is so important.
Those are really good.
Thank you.
Those are really good points. Yeah, no, because they are valued. And I see that as well in my own business and being like, yeah, that's how I've continued to do what I do, like going on 4 years now, 3, 4 years.
It's been 4 years.
Yeah. Yeah, almost 4 years.
Time flies.
I
And it's
know.
because, you think of year 1, Jess, versus year 4, Jess. Like now you're
Crazy.
delegating even more and hiring, which is great.
Yeah, definitely.
That's probably the final piece. Delegate faster than normal if you can.
Yeah, I still haven't delegated. Still only me at this point in time, but it is a goal hopefully for this year. So, yeah, I definitely want to be able to try and bring someone else on board to help with that as well. So, yeah, but we can talk more about that later.
Yes. Okay.
Okay, so now sort of leaning into towards the end of our episode, I want to get to know a little bit more about some of the things that bring you joy in life, like little moments in life that make Tam really happy.
My cats. One of the things I always come back to was when I was in work mode and I used to, like they're in your face, they just want love. And I used to be like, not now, not now.
Yeah.
And one of them nearly passed away. And it was like, fuck, there's little things in those moments where you push them away and you're focusing on work, but then that little one wants love.
Yeah.
So I honestly, what brings me joy is my animals, because, I nearly lost one.
Yeah.
The second thing I absolutely love is traveling and seeing the world. Funnily enough, I love speaking. I'm sure you guys would have picked up on that. But
We
yeah,
love talking.
we love talking. Love talking, love traveling. I love my partner, and we're very much excited to be going to the Philippines and having our little holiday and getaway, which would be nice.
That's so exciting. When are you going?
Wednesday.
Oh my God. That's
Yeah.
like not tomorrow, the next day. What
Great.
the fuck?
Yeah, I've got so much to do before then.
Have
But
you
yeah,
packed?
no, not packed. No, it's fine. Last
It's
minute
all
pack
good.
up. It'll be good. It'll be good. But yeah, my animals traveling, Jordan. Of course, my glasses of red wine, but I'm in my health era at the moment, and of course, my mum and my brother. Like they
Yep.
don't get enough recognition, but I definitely know they make me happy. And obviously, spending quality time with my best friends. Like your girl loves a good fine dining. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I'm with you with that.
Yeah.
How many years is there between you and your brother?
3. He's
Oh
younger.
my goodness. He's younger than you.
Yeah. Yeah. So how old am I? 36. He's 33.
Wow. Oh, he's close to my age. I'm 32 this year.
He's working in the business too now. I don't know if I told you that.
No.
Yeah, well, he was doing appointment setting for us, all our sales people, which we're now giving to someone else because now he's just blown up on YouTube for music. So
That's
yeah,
amazing.
so much. Yeah, like he's doing really well now.
That
So
is incredible. That's so good. What are some of your, now I'm going backtracking a little bit. What are some of your fondest memories with your brother? Because I'm really close with my sisters, as you know. Um, and I think sibling relationships are so, so important in terms of like our core values as people. So what are some of your most fondest memories that you have with your younger brother growing up?
do you know what? It's the movies we always memorize. You know, when you think of a movie and you're that person, like when it's me, my brother, and my mum's like, oh, here they go again. We're quoting movies, the Avengers, and all this nerdy stuff.
Yep.
I would say they're the most fondest because, you know, he's got Asperger's, so he's quite different. He's
Yep.
completely capable of socializing, whatnot. But that's what we froth on. It's like what movies coming out, quoting movies, you know, like that was what I cherished the most growing up with him.
I think that's definitely a sibling thing. My twin sister and I still do that to this day. Like we've got particular movies that we still quote. Well, I am going to sort of wrap up the rest of our episode now and ask you two more questions that I
Okay.
have.
Sorry, guys.
Because we go on tangents about our pets and we'll be talking for ages.
2 ADHDers, like
Literally. Lucky I have all my questions written down. Otherwise, I would be going on tangents nonstop and my episodes would be an hour and a half long.
I love it.
So, if you could give 8-year-old you one piece of advice, what would that be and why?
I would give her a hug first, and I would just say, just remember, I am so proud of you. And you don't know this yet, but whatever anyone says to you, you just smile and say, you know what? I know exactly who I am. Because I think at 8, I just kept looking to be accepted and loved, but really I just needed to love myself. And that would be what I say to her.
I love that. And I think there's a lot of people that would resonate with that because that is such a, especially in your story as well, that was such a pivotal time in your life. You were bullied in school and it just wasn't a good time. Because how old were you when you came to Australia?
I was 4.
Okay. Yep. Do you remember much from Brazil?
No, because I was in Germany most of the time. I went to Brazil
Right.
when I was 12. Not 12, that's a lie. I went to Brazil when I was, no, I did go to Brazil when I was younger. I think I went to Brazil when I was 10
Mm-hmm.
to visit family. And I only remember like parts of like the beach, my cousin surfing, and there was a lot of crime in Brazil. Like you'd watch the news, there was a lot of crime.
Things.
And I'm like, I don't know how to say this without
Yeah. I'll bleep it.
it was bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but like I remember I was always happy in Brazil. I just don't remember really like key things, just those main things.
And then what about growing up in Germany? What was that like? Do you remember?
Not even, I remember the snow. I remember preschool. I remember like swimming with my mom. Not so much. Like I see photos, I'm like, oh, that's an interesting outfit. What's going on there, mum? But no, Australia is probably more what I remember. I probably get more feelings and sensations when I think of home in Germany. I remember this one time we went down a really big slide. Like I was on one of those, oh my God, I don't even know what you call it, like a ski thing. You sit down and you just go down this sled. It was all snow. And then I nearly hit the door and the door was full of snow. And I was
my God.
I remember. But yeah, that's about it.
That is so cool. Have you ever been back since?
No, I definitely want to go back to Brazil.
Mm-hmm.
I have a weird connection with Germany because I feel like it just reminds me a lot of my father, and like that side of the family never really loved me.
Yeah.
That's also another whole story of like my father and my grandma. Whereas like in Brazil, it was just like they loved you for who you were. So I think I have more roots to like the Brazilian culture, even though the German culture, I definitely can sense the strong structure, the masculine. There's definitely more my playfulness on the other side of things
From the
too.
Brazil. Yeah, yeah. What was because I know you said before that you do really love to travel. This will be my last question, I promise.
So
Because
fun.
I love asking people's like favorite places in the world that they've visited. So what's been two of your favorite countries that you've visited in the world?
God, we went to Macau when I was
Mm.
dancing. That was amazing because it was like the capital city of gambling. I don't gamble, but it was like Christmas on meth. Like it was amazing. Like it was just like a beautiful time. I was dancing as a Smurf. I was in the musical theater. I know, and I
Oh
was
my god.
the Nation Hotel. It was just beautiful. And then they had like all these different like Christmas themes. It was like probably one of my favorite memories. And then I really love like so many of. I love Fiji. I love America. Fiji because Jordan and I had a holiday together, and it was a really nice holiday together as a couple. And then America just because like some of the experiences in LA, and also when we did the podcast there, like the networks, everyone there just doesn't have any fear. So you walk
Mm.
into a room in America, you do a mastermind, and everyone's like, "I do this," and I'm like, "Oh no way, honey, girl," which is weird because I would want to have more of that energy, and I think in Australia we just hold back so much. So
Mm. Yeah, Americans definitely do have a lot louder personalities than we do. Yeah, that's incredible. So when that was during your theater days, wasn't it?
yeah, so I traveled as a Smurf, as a musical theatre thing I did. I went to Kuwait, Dubai, Singapore, Hong Kong, Macau, like all these like Asian, Middle Eastern countries, and it was great. And Macau was like the first one I went to, like amazing. And
Mm.
I was working, like, God, maybe if I went there now, I'd have a bit more fun, but it was still
Mm.
amazing, you know?
How old are you when you were traveling with the show?
15, I think. So I was still kind of I started PTing at 2015. So
Mm-hmm.
what's that? What are we? So there's that 10 years ago, 11
Oh,
years
it's
ago,
more than that.
11 years ago. So I'm 36 now.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
I can't do the math either. Don't worry.
Yeah. I was like,
I can't math. But yeah, in your early 20s.
yeah, early
Yeah.
20s.
Yeah.
We'll go with the early
We're
20s.
just as bad as each other. It's fine.
I'll
That's
write
good.
you a message. Go, it's 23.
Oh my God, that would have been such an incredible experience for you as well. What do you think carrying into the business that you have now? What's sort of the biggest thing that you learnt during that phase of your life in terms of being in theatre, in terms of being a performer and things like that you still value now?
I think like improvisation, like I learned a lot of monologues from memorizing poems and scripts, whereas in business, like it taught me a lot of like stage presence, confidence, like picking something up and going, yep, cool, I can do this, I can say this, I can read this, I can, talk about something. It's honestly, I think a skill I picked up on was the camera side of things,
Mm,
performance without theater, like speaking to camera now, like so many people struggle with that, and it's
mm,
crazy. Like that was something I took into the fitness side and what I'm doing now.
mm. I definitely can relate to that a lot because, creating content and showing up in terms of doing videos, speaking on camera is something that has just been second nature to me for the longest time. And, back when I was still working in Gregory Hills in Sydney, our social media girl would come in and she'd be like, I only want to do content with Jess. I just want to do content with Jess because she knows what she's doing. She knows what she's saying. She just does it in one take. I was always the one take wonder because I could just get it done straight away. And that's definitely something I thank my theatre roots for. Yeah, I can definitely relate to that. And to anyone listening, any other sort of businesses or coaches online, don't be afraid of the camera. I know it's easier said than done, but it's like such a small component of your business
Yeah.
that it's like if you want your clients to show up for themselves in your business, you also have to show up too.
It's the embodiment, right? I want to have this, but then you're not willing to do the one basic thing that can get you there. Yeah.
Mm, absolutely. Definitely. Oh, Tam, thank you so much for joining me today. I honestly really, really appreciate it. I know you and I could definitely talk for a lot longer, but because
I know.
attention span these days.
No, but it's also flow,
Yeah.
So that's the biggest thing. And thank you for having me. Everyone, thanks for putting up with my craziness,
Yeah. To
And
everyone listening, thank you all so much for joining in and tuning into today's episode. And if you haven't already, please make sure that you hit the like and subscribe button, and I can continue on with my little passion project. And if there's anyone else that you want to recommend to being on the show, please make sure you leave a comment or send us a DM on Instagram, because we always want to talk to as many incredibly inspiring women as we can. And Tam, you are definitely one of those people for me, and someone I definitely look up to for a lot of reasons. And I want to thank you again for being on the show.
I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for having me. And I'm so proud to see you grow this year as well.
Thank you, darling. Bye, everyone. Thank you for listening.
Bye.